I wanted to start today out, and I basically have been extremely burnt, like to a crisp as far as Star Citizen goes, because I've just been kind of, uh, I guess, bored, in a lot of ways of the constant, um, like same thing, different day with the game. And I was actually really excited for this event coming up, and a lot of the changes in the patch. So I kind of wanted to do a state of things in 4.2.1, as a lot of people are uh, focused on the massive negatives, and we are going to focus on the massive negatives. But I want to remind people of what's actually in the patch, because there's actually some really good things as well. So instead of starting out with the negatives and going as hard as I possibly can into CIG, because they literally deserve it, and we will get there. I want to show you this. The patch notes for 4.2.1 live. It is not just resource drive, right? It's not just that. It's a lot more of the year of stability stuff that a lot of people are calling out of. This event is not stable, therefore the entire patch is not stable, or they didn't make any improvements and things like that. They absolutely did. And we will get into resource drive, and we will be incredibly critical of them. But let's start out with a little positivity, because I never do that. Just being different, right? The Mantis works, which is something that has not worked since server meshing was put in. So positive there, right? Obviously a very good thing. The Wicklow recipe updates are incredibly good. Yeah, you got to be mad accurately. You have to be you have to say good things and bad things. If you only say bad things, it's not okay, right? We are absolutely justified to be frustrated, but let's give praise where it's due first. Wicklow updates are fantastic. Having green zone security updates and station defense updates are better. Much better than having nothing. Do we like what they are? I'm going to say no. I heard, I think it was like Greasy or something like that, stole a ship, took it somewhere else, and went to a station to store it. And he was sent, like he was teleported out of the ship that he stole, because he was trespassing in someone else's ship, and then was like putting it into a docking situation, which is crazy. That makes no sense. But having security in a green zone and having better station defense turrets are good. Valakar's whatever. Flight tuning changes, we can agree or disagree, like that those are good. I don't know. Executive ships have their loadouts again, but they do not have their weapons. So that's something that, good and bad. Salvage balance, I think they did a really good job with salvage balance. I know the solo reclaimers are going to complain, but again, you have a massive amount of cargo, regardless if that cargo grid is good or fun to deal with. The balance makes perfect sense to me for small ships to be really, really fast and efficient, but their bottleneck is cargo, and the large ship is able to make really large boxes and hold a lot of stuff, but isn't that efficient at doing it. The Reclaimer having PDCs is great. The Volt pistol is like an SMG. It's super good, so, that's cool. And then there's definitely been some improvements in terms of our inventory. I don't see, like, inventory delays as much, and there's a lot of bug fixes as well. That's the positives. There are things where previous patches were bad, and the current patch is better. So improving the, doing that year of stability stuff, like, again, inventory seems to be a lot better, which has been a huge problem for a really long time. So cross that one off the list for now, and it's good. Executive ships working again, and Wicklow, I think, are super good, and a super long problem, PvP interdiction. Dealt with that. Great. They've also, recipe updates for Wicklow 2, Ace Interceptor helmets, and the medals are easier to get and farm. Like, there's just, they heard feedback, they listened, they made it better. And the year of playability part is there. The year of stability part is still debatable, right? Okay, that's the good. Let's get to the bad. Patch comes out, one mission available for the resource drive event for one person on a server. That's it. Day one, they need an update because they don't test their stuff enough internally. Day one, they need an update because only one player can get the mission. So what that tells me is in their pre-flight checks for going live, one Q&A member looked, the missions are there, I accepted them, I did the mission, they worked. But a second didn't bother to join that server and check. It can only be that way. It couldn't have went any other way. That's the only way it could have went. Great job, CIG. You're doing great. As always, we are your Q&A, clearly. Or, again, there are some massive communication problems that are going on there. Don't know what you're doing. Whatever you are doing, change it because it never fucking works. Done. So now they do a fix and roll that out. What happens with that fix? Oh, it's good. Freight elevators busted. Now, the best part is this. The hotfix we deployed last night to address the low intro mission rates unexpectedly caused more players to be funneled to the same location. So we didn't take enough time to test the fix for the test that we didn't take enough time to fix. Great job. You're doing great. You're doing fantastic. We love you. Keep it up. So then what happens is there's not enough mission locations available. So when one person accepts a mission at a location, there are no more available to anyone else. So when you try to do missions together as a group, or when you try to do missions at all for any of these, the only ones that are going to be available to you are the cargo missions, because nobody wants to do those because they involve you taking hundreds of SCU of cargo out of a freight elevator at a lot of the times an outpost, which is the most brain dead and idiotic thing they've ever done, because everyone knows that freight elevators at outposts specifically are shit. But except for the people who work at the company. Now, Xylo's just the punching bag here. He's not the one who makes any of these decisions, right? But the top paragraph here is absolutely hilarious. And I even made a tweet about it going, breaking news, CIG did an investigation internally and found out that freight elevators don't work, when we've been telling you that since they've come into the game. God, and they especially don't work at outposts. And we've already been through this with, I think, Save Stanton or one of those other ones where there was huge bottlenecks at the outposts. Yes, I know my camera's broken. I will deal with that in a second. Initial investigations uncovered a few issues, including how obstruction detection is functioning and how elevators can sometimes behave, risk of state breakdown when areas stream in and out. This has been happening forever, dude. Forever. And guess what? You mark these bugs as fixed on the issue council. Great fucking job. You guys are the best. You guys are the best. More stuff here. Again, the bottleneck is an unexpected effect of last night. We're currently validating a fix and plan to roll out directly to live as soon as it's ready. And more player versus elevator. We've identified a few issues, but one of the core problems is related to an unexpected bottleneck, blah, 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 blah. And then we get a hotfix, right? The hotfix is dealing with client crashes for the most part, which apparently are still happening to people. I didn't have any client crashes, so whatever my setup isn't causing client crashes, but it was happening to a lot of people in my party when we were playing yesterday. Some people are saying they aren't having any more client crashes. Other people are saying they still are, so they have not nailed this down completely yet. And cool. Yeah, like Bear the Book just says, I just crashed at an outpost. And then, bam, they also said that they are adding additional debugging for client server performance to track down the cause of notable issues. None of this is related to freight elevators, the mission, or anything like that from what I can tell, because when I jump into the game, my camera's kind of blocking, so I'll move my cam to this side. I don't have any of the missions available still. So as you can see, just cargo hauling, because nobody wants to do those. And just cargo hauling, nobody wants to do those. Just cargo hauling, nobody wants to do those. And just cargo hauling, because nobody wants to do those. So the missions that I would like to do the mission, which are the more efficient ones, I can't do because everybody is fighting over them every 8 minutes or so whenever the update happens of like, all right, we'll pop another mission in there. This is one of the worst experiences I have had with an event. Now, I've only done the event so far. I haven't, worked towards Wicklow stuff yet. I haven't done the escort missions. I haven't farted around with anything else. I haven't done much salvage or anything, right? And those are all the positive things. So, and I think everybody is basically going, the event is only up for a month. I want to make sure I get all the stuff because a lot of people are completionists when they play MMOs. I certainly am. As you can see, I have all 4 intro missions. I would like to get all the stuff. So it's incredibly frustrating to have barely made any progress so far. Here's where I'm at. And this is after playing for quite a few hours. Now, the problem is I played quite a few hours with a party, and that didn't work. I have 159 cargo turned in for Crusader, 23 turned in for Microtech, and then the base for ArcCorp and Hurston. Because we were just fighting over how are we going, because I was constantly sharing SU. There's another problem that I don't see addressed anywhere. If you do get a defend large cargo ship mission, guess what happens when you share it? There could be 100 plus SCU on that cargo ship. Each party member gets 1 SCU. And yes, Vet Raptor, it blows up a lot because it is really hard to get to that ship and protect it without a group or without the pay-to-win Polaris, pay-to-win Idris, or probably a Reclaimer. Anything that has PDCs will just clap anything around you, and you just kind of stand there and let the PDCs kill it. PDCs are way too offensive and incredibly broken, but that is a whole nother story. That's my opinion on that, by the way. I think a lot of people love PDCs. But, then people are camping spawns to kill and loot the ships as well and just turn it in for the sandbox mission turn-in. It is a mess. This is a mess of a patch, and that is the state of things, but it's not all bad. There's a lot, like, we can't keep going, but the year of playability, but the year of stability, and these guys are, kind of working pretty hard on doing the year of playability stuff and the year of stability stuff. They just are absolutely every single time an event comes out, it never works. So all I'm going to do is look in the camera and say, CIG, whatever you're doing, look at it and stop doing what you're doing the way you're doing it now and do it differently. Don't know what the answers are, but it is very obvious from the outside that when you keep doing the same things expecting different results, that you're a fucking idiot. And that's what it is. Somebody over there is being an absolute idiot, or many people, or it's a cultural thing, or it's whatever. But something has to give. And I believe that it's straight from the top when they set a date for a patch. I don't think it's your Elliots necessarily or the people who are actively coding the stuff. I think when you set a date way in advance, it was clearly done way in advance. Jared literally said in 2 weeks, we're going to do the 4.2.1 patch. 2 weeks out. 2 weeks out, they had a date of when this thing was coming out. And they shipped it no matter the state that it's in. And you got to ask, did they not do enough testing, or did they not have enough time to do enough testing? Is this on Q&A or is this on the top? Don't know. We don't work there. But there's lots of ways to look at this. But whatever choices you are making, they are bad choices. They are bad choices because the results always end up like this. Always end up like this. Do something different, and maybe you'll get a different result. You keep doing the same thing, you're going to keep getting the same result, and you're going to keep having a community that is incredibly frustrated with the way you do things. I don't want to be frustrated with you. That's why I started out with, look at all this good stuff. Because I'm incredibly happy about that stuff. I don't give a fuck about this event. I don't. I could care less about this event at all. This event is stupid and dumb because it's just going to go away. It's going to be here, and a month from now, we're not even going to think about it. We're going to look back at, hey, remember how stupid they were. Not how fun the event was necessarily or anything like that. It's going to be a blip in the history of the game. It doesn't matter. What matters is that Wicklow is better. What matters is that inventory works better, right? Those are the changes that are actually matter. If the event just didn't work, it doesn't make that big of a difference. Everybody's frustrated because they just want to get it out of the way and go back to either playing other games that they like or playing Star Citizen the way they normally do. Go out and salvage or go out and mine or go, do whatever they were doing. And I think CIG just did a really bad job with this one. And the sad thing about it is it's a copy and paste. This should have been a layup. This should have been a layup. And it was a fumble. Another CIG fumble.